talk a little bit about that at the end, but I'm here with Jerry Brown. We're going to do a little review of the North-South that went last weekend and discuss it and show you some things. And welcome back, Jerry.
Hey, nice to be back.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to be back. And guess what? The North and South did not let me down.
Yeah, there was some good softball being played. We're going to get to it, but the second major tournament, and we had the Fat Kids win in Westchester, and this past weekend we had Whale win.
What a well of a time.
Yeah, and we're going to get into it in just a moment, but let's give you guys our normal pre-show routine, and that is if you want to inquire about starting a 16-inch softball league, a tournament, or how you can become an SSA corporate partner, just reach out to us, info@ssasoftball.com, or you can call me, Gio, at 708-807-7043. And let's talk quickly about a couple of our sponsors. Sweet Buzz by Dresco Farms. They make infused products. If you're an adult and you use them, check them out. They have all kinds of different product lines. Of course, Nick Drabel on the Moneyline squad, part owner of that company. They're big SSA fans, and we always encourage you to support the people that support 16-inch softball. And of course, Cut Shot Sports, the maker of Cut Shot 16-inch softball bats, the official 16-inch softball bat of the Slow Pitch Softball Association. Mikey Heinrichs from Chuck's, part owner of that company, and Mikey donating bats to our MVPs and batting champs at our national championship tournament. So it's going to be it's a great little partnership with them, and they're brand new, and we appreciate what Mike is doing because we know everybody has trouble finding 16-inch softball bats. So we're back, and let's start off. We'll put up the list of the top four finishers at the North-South. Of course, Whale, the champions.
Congratulations, Whale, as my prediction was correct.
And the runner-up, the 45s, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 45s in a second. Third place was Chuck's, and fourth place was High Y. So before we break it down individually, let's put up a couple of pictures. Here's the Whale team. You can see they had a lot of their friends and families jump in. Apologize for the picture quality. Danny Atkins took the picture, and a lot of chaos going on, a lot of people coming in and out of the camera frame. So I'm going to see if maybe Danny or if one of you Whale team, if any of your people took a clearer picture, please send it to us and we'll put it up online. We don't want you to feel slighted. And of course, the runner-up was the 45s, and there you see a picture of them.
A lot less people.
Lot less people. They had fewer people for sure. And so just getting into the tournament, Whale was really playing good softball. They were scoring a lot of runs. They were hitting the ball. I think we saw a couple of the guys on their team who are younger players that are really rising quickly in the softball community. People like Michael Crawford.
Is that the right fielder?
That's the right fielder.
Yeah, he's very impressive.
Yeah.
I had a chance to see, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I had a chance to see about, because once I get into a diamond, I don't really move. I'm not limber like you, Gio. I'm like a whole statue. So I was a diamond ABC. I was in diamond C, and I saw three of Whale's games at C, and Crawford, you said his name was?
Yeah, Michael.
Michael Crawford was excellent. He was simply awesome. I think he led off. Was he a leadoff guy?
He was leading off quite a bit during the weekend, and it's interesting because, man, he hits the ball hard.
Yes.
And he drives the ball, and he don't get cheated. And, he was doing a great job. He hit very well in the tournament. but you kind of wonder to yourself, a kid that can drive it
Why he's batting
and can
first?
run, yeah, why maybe you don't have him more like 3-4 in kind of an RBI type situation.
Well-
Because, I know he hit at least one home run that was a solo shot. And, he's so big, he's so fast. But again, they know their team better than we do.
Correct.
I'm not sure. I think Michael Lange missed some time.
But when he was there, he batted second.
Yeah, and I don't know if they would have an alternative leadoff man or somebody was missing, but it's like leading PCA off for the Cubs. He's been a one-man wrecking crew.
Today he put on a show.
Yeah, but a lot of times he comes up, there's nobody on base.
But it's okay to start the game off 1-0. Somebody has to score first, and my philosophy would be that if this guy's hitting like that, you're giving him 2 or 3 more extra at bats as opposed to batting 5th, 6th, or 7th, where he'll be on the on deck circle, and you kind of like, dog, I wish he was batting up now. So when you lead him off, the good part is he gets more swings. The bad part is he gets less RBIs.
Well, but on the flip side, it's great to be on base, but you still need the production. You still need somebody to drive those runs in. And, but again, Wales got a terrific lineup.
Oh.
I mean, guys like Jackson Perry, who was ridiculous this weekend.
Mr. Versatility.
Right, and guys like Jake Lunty and when Michael Lange's there
Yeah.
and the other guys they got.
Don't forget Chris Rieger.
Right,
He was
right.
awesome.
Right. So, 6-1, half a dozen of another. Me, I like, excuse me, folks. I like to put big, strong guys that can drive the ball behind other jackrabbits. Because if Michael Crawford hits a double, it's going to be a long double, and he's going to clear the bases. But that's just preference and knowing your team. And so it'll be interesting to see as the season goes on if they continue to lead them off or if they decide, let's slide you down a slot or two. And like Jackson Perry, he's been on fire. And
I was going to call the fire department on him.
yeah,
He's been smoking.
Right. And so, with Jackson, you run into a situation, you don't want people pitching around him. So depending on who's behind Jackson or what's going on, you may want to give him a little protection in your lineup and have a team say, geez, do we pitch to Jackson or do we pitch to this other guy that can launch the ball and create havoc? So, it'll be interesting to see. They're going to be out tomorrow at the Midsummer Classic and love their team, love the guys on that team. They're a very loose group, and they got a great mix of younger guys and veterans that have been through the whole process.
They remind me of the year the Chicago Dynasty won the No Glove. And what I mean by that is they were just that loose. They were just that relaxed. They're picking each other up. I had the chance to see 3 or 4 games, and the energy if the energy dipped a tad, then you had Chris Rieger picking them back up. And the lineup, my opinion, you just won the second tournament of the year?
Yeah.
You just won the second tournament. Don't reinvent the wheel. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
That's what I would. That's just my opinion from a guy who never won a No Glove.
Yeah. Well, you're sitting at the table with somebody who did. So you're in good company.
You won 3 of them.
Well, not as a player, unfortunately, but as a manager. And let's move on a little bit.
Sure.
Second place runner-up, 45s. And, we've talked about some of their outfield struggles and, maybe some attendance issues. And by the time we got to Sunday, Jeff Mastari had a nasty fall, hip contusion, and early reports are is that Jeff's going to be okay, and we're thinking about you, Jeff, and we hope you're back on the field soon. And even with the nitpicking that people want to do, they still find a way to finish in that top 4 every weekend. And they got a lot of experience. And, I have so much respect for that team because when they're there, and, by the end of the tournament, they lost Jeff. Jack Landwehr, first ball of the game against Whale, Mike Crawford hit a rocket over the bag.
Not shocking.
And he laid out to try to knock it down, and he got up, and he was gimpy. And, after Jeff had to leave the game, they had to reshuffle the deck. And it was, because Anthony Sanchez, one of the better left fielders in the game, and Anthony off to a tremendous start this year, was out of town. So, they came in very light. They were getting dinged up, but yet, they found a way to make it to the championship game.
Well, I'll use an expression, winners win. Winners find a way to figure it out, and when their back's against the wall, they figure out a way to win and they figure out a way to get it done. And that's how I would like to categorize the 45s. If they have 50 guys, 5 guys, well, they can't 5. If they have 50 guys, 10 guys, or 12, they're going to figure out and then how to win. They're going to figure out how to get it done. And each tournament, they finish in the top 4.
Yeah, I believe they were 4th at the TOC, right? And, they had a good weekend. And, Jerry, we talk about it all the time. If you're the 45s, if you're Flashback, if you're Signature, their expectations are so high that if they don't win the event, they feel like, maybe it was a failure. But they seem to always find a way to get there. I think a lot of it's experience and having guys that have been through it, guys that know how to play softball. And again, when guys aren't there, they don't worry about it. They just go out and grind with what they got.
Keep going along.
Yeah.
The train does not stop.
Yeah. And, I thought they played real well. Let's move on to Chuck's. Chuck's was awesome when they were in. They were playing some of the best softball I think I've ever seen a team in Iowa play, and that team at the No Glove in the major is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that left fielder Brady and the center fielder Levi.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the jeans, but that center fielder, that outfield is tremendous.
Well, as we're going to find out when we get to the leaders, a guy nobody talks about, and I've mentioned him a little bit, is Jared Carlson in right field.
No, I'm
absolutely
sorry.
Tearing it up.
Sorry, Jared.
And, but when you look at Levi Usher and you look at Drew Ledig and Schrage and Jake Reynolds and Mikey Heinrichs, and you go through their lineup.
It's pretty tough.
They can hit the ball hard. They can throw it around the field.
And they have some athletes.
Right, and they got jackrabbits, and they got road grinders. And you know what? They're catching the ball pretty good. And, very impressed with them. Now, because of the rain, and anybody that goes on Game Changer is going to see that, there were 2 7-0 losses because on Sunday, due to the weather and how late the tournament started, because of overnight Saturday rain, it didn't restart till 3 p.m. And, a lot of those guys are driving 6-7 hours to get back to Iowa, and they got to work on Monday. And there was a little bit of an injury factor. Levi Usher hurt an oblique, so they had told us that he was going to be out for the rest of the tournament. And they got a great little backup in Cole Gruel, who used to be their starting left fielder for years before Brady got there. And then he was playing a lot of right field before Levi got there. And he is an above-average outfielder and a tough out. And he seemed like he had a little hamstring tightness in the last game they played on Saturday night. So I think that with the No Glove coming up and, the major, they had to travel. They were a little dinged up. They came in a little light. They did not have a lot of guys on the bench. And I think that might have been an ounce of prevention to, kind of get out of Dodge. I think they proved their point that they could play. And they were very polite. They didn't want to leave. I think had the tournament restarted at noon instead of 3, I think they probably would have kept playing. And so we didn't get to see the matchup I was kind of hoping to see, which was Chucks and Whale.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that I think about it, that's why you promised me that game to broadcast. That was my first broadcast, and you knew Chucks was leaving. So you let me do the game, though there wouldn't be a game. Terrible, Gio. Terrible.
Nobody said I was stupid, Jerry. But that's not true. We're having a little fun. And so they played real well. And I think, based on their performance this weekend, Fat Kids were a little flat this weekend. I don't think they quite had the weekend they were hoping for. And Chucks did play well also at the TOC. So maybe they've moved back into the fourth seed territory now. Because I think last year they finished tied for fifth out at the No Gloves. So I think Chucks is in real good shape. And it'll be real interesting to see what happens there. And then, of course, finishing fourth, High Y had a pretty good tournament. They got bounced by the 45s.
Chucks, right? Chucks,
Well,
5-3.
With Chucks not showing up, the loser bracket championship game was really the get-back game.
Okay.
So the winner of the 45s and High Y, because Chucks you had to leave, right? They kind of withdrew from the tournament. That made that game the game to get to the championship. In the 45s, it was a tight game for a while, and 45s kind of pulled away a little bit later in the ball game, and so the 45s ended up going and playing Whale. And we didn't mention it. Whale was up 9-0 in that game, and it ended up 9-7. And
clawing and fighting. See what I'm talking about? Winners win with the 45s. They just didn't give up.
Well, right, and it would have been interesting had it gone to a NIF game to see how Whale would have reacted in a NIF game after, potentially losing a 9-run lead in a game. So
I've never lost one.
What?
9-run lead.
Yeah,
I lost about 5. So
Yeah.
I'm more of a veteran at that. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's tough. They can certainly play on your psyche. But,
You never get over it.
Right, but there were some other teams that, had some moments in the tournament. The Dirty 38s had some nice moments in the tournament over the weekend. With them, I think it's more just getting their guys out. But we saw a lot of good softball. We saw a lot of good players on some of these teams, and younger players that are starting to kind of force their way up the ladder a little bit. And, Danny did an unbelievable job. He got rained out on Thursday night.
Right.
And then we had the massive rain on Saturday night into Saturday morning. I think it rained until about 9:30. Mm-hmm. And I went out there, and there were puddles on the infield, the walkways, the little walkway around the park. That was flooded. There was a lot of water in the dugouts. And kudos to the Berwyn Park District, because they told Danny they would have him ready by 3 p.m., and they were ready by 3 p.m. And
good job, Danny, and good job, Gio, and good job to the SSA for once again running a fine tournament. It's not easy running a tournament with 28 teams, so you got all these personalities. You got to battle Mother Nature. You got to battle all these other variables, which we don't see behind the scenes, to make everything run smooth as possible. So I tip my hat off, but I don't have a hat. Congratulations and good job again.
Well, and just to clarify, it's really more Danny than the SSA. We provided the game changer. True. And if Danny needs a little support, if anything, Danny and a couple of his Iron kids were fantastic. They were helping us take tents down and move tables. And it's really Danny and his wife Jennifer that really put in the hard work to make the tournament go. We're just there. We're happy to be a part of it. And, if Danny needs something and we can provide it for him, we're more than happy to do that. But Danny's been doing this for 23 years.
And doing a great job for 23 years.
And he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. And, he runs a good tournament, and I know the majority, if not all of the teams, at the end of the event or when they get eliminated, I'm over there by the table because I got to do the game changer and all this other stuff. And, to see how many people come up to Danny, thank him, tell him what a nice tournament it was and everything else. It's the reason why the SSA does stuff. It's the reason why Danny, after 23 years, still does it. And we all get frustrated, being that we run tournaments and Danny runs tournaments. Sometimes me and Danny are each other's, psychoanalysts, and, and we all talk and we try to, talk about our experiences running events and how to get by it. But Danny is just a sweetheart. He cares. He puts in such tremendous effort. And for all of you people out there that want to kind of jump online and jump on Danny for this or that, shame on you, because it's people like Danny that run these tournaments that everybody can come out and have a great time at, and, they can play. And, we put up with some of that stuff too. But again, if you're ever out there and you want to come talk to any of the board members and you want suggestions or ideas or criticism.
Constructive criticism.
Right, just come talk to us. I know when people bring up ideas to me, I always tell people I'm going to bring it to the board. You've sat in on some of those meetings. Everybody says, hey, I was talking to this guy. He had an idea, and then we discuss it. So never, even if it's something you wish we could do better, even if it's something you have a little criticism about, we love to hear about it. Like I say, we're not perfect.
Nobody's perfect, yeah.
Right. And, there was one guy that walked the planet that was probably perfect.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Other than that,
we're all in the same boat.
We're all in the same boat, just trying to survive and get by. But overall, terrific tournament, good softball. Like to thank Coach's Corner, too, who came out and did the food and the alcohol. And, I kind of feel sorry for them. They lost Thursday, and there was an absolute lake in front of where they were selling the food, so they couldn't do it on Sunday. So, Coach's Corner, thank you so much. People in 16 in softball certainly appreciate it. And if you're ever out in the Willow Springs area, pop in there, have a burger, have a couple of drinks, and tell him that you appreciate the fact that he's helping out 16 in softball. So let's move on to some summer series after two legs. So we got the leading hitters, and lo and behold, Jackson Perry at 741 from Whale at the top of the list.
Somebody hit a new cut shot back.
And he just has been doing massive damage. He was a little banged up last year, but he's back, he's healthy, and he's pounding the ball again.
Okay.
2 on the list, Joey Yaris. And again, this is based on having a total of 26 at-bats after the first 2 tournaments. And Joey Yaris at 727. So Joey, we told you he came out of the gate great. I don't know how much he was here this weekend. But, the 45s had so many at-bats at the TOC. Some of them guys are, still qualifying. And we'll see plenty of 45s on the leaderboard. Another guy on the 45s having a wonderful year, Tony Valdez, the center fielder. And Tony looks fantastic.
He's from Circus?
He was on the 45s. He dropped out for a year or two, was playing with the Armor Square Crush. And then he popped up on Circus.
Okay.
And now he's back with the 45s. And he looks great. He's moving great.
Solid outfielder.
Yeah, center field. He's playing at I want to make sure I read that right, 676. And toward the end of the tournament, he was starting to get gimped up a little bit. Because, again, when you're light outfielders and you go to these multi-day events, it's hard if you can't rotate your outfielders. Maybe let them EH a game, get them off their feet a little bit. And Tony just did a terrific job all weekend and all season so far. And now we got a guy who I talk about all the time. I really think he's the heart and soul of his team, and that's KJ, Kevin Johnson from Highway, checking in at 640 so far.
Did a little hitting this weekend, huh?
He did, and not only did he hit this weekend, but he did his normal great job at first base.
Yeah.
And, we talked about KJ. He could always catch the ball over there, but he has turned himself into an elite offensive player. I even saw him get intentionally walked this past weekend.
That's a good move.
Yeah, it is. And
More managers need to put their pride aside, and if a guy is batting 6 something, 7 something, it's okay to walk him. You owe your team a service to tip your hat off, and that's that guy's day to try to go around and do something better.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they might have had Gardner Huff hitting after him, and Gardner is going to show up on this top 15 list, and Gardner's off to a really good start as well. But checking in at number 5 is the guy that we've been talking about, Michael Crawford from Whale. He's at 621 on the season.
Yeah.
So Michael off to a great start.
The leadoff hitter, Michael Crawford.
And he hits the ball so hard without the gloves that, he's just tough to defend because of that. Checking in, not quite as high as he was after the TOC, but still with a real rock-solid average, Ryan Russ from Flashback at 621. And Ryan wasn't quite as sharp as he was in the TOC with the bat, still played his normal elite defense in right field, but checking in at 621, and I think he was over 800 after the TOC, so little unreasonable to expect the guy to hit at that clip.
Yeah, well, it's funny that he went from batting, last year was he batting 7th, 6th?
Yeah, he was a little lower in the lineup.
Yeah, now he's batting 2nd.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job.
Doing a great job. He's 800 in the TLC and 6 something. Now he's doing a great job batting in a 2-hole.
Yeah, because he added a couple of different swings. He's capable now of not only kind of cutting or driving the ball to the left side, but he's also capable of that little flip shot down the right field line, and he can still hit that line drive into right center.
Right center where he made his money.
Yeah, so he's a dangerous hitter and very fast, faster than people give him credit for. Checking in at number 7 is Jared Carlson at 613 from Chucks. And so, he's the first Chucks guy. In fact, I'm looking at the list. He's the only Chucks guy on the list, and he's the guy nobody talks about. 613, elite defense, and showing you he can really hit the ball. Number 7 on the list, Jared Carlson. Below Jared at number 8, Spencer Mahoney, hitting 611 so far in the summer series, and we've talked ad nauseum about how good a player Spencer is, and he keeps showing up on these leaderboards, showing you just how good he is, and he's been doing it kind of year after year now, so he's starting to build that reputation, which I think as a great player you got to do it more than just 1 year, and he's starting to kind of fulfill that promise. Checking in at number 8, Brian Koronkowski from the Fat Kids at 606. And we know Brian's a terrific player, won the batting title in 24 for the Chicago Summer Series, and was also the MVP in 2024. Brian's been making a few more games for the Fat Kids this year and giving them what they need out of the leadoff hole, 606. Checking in at number 10, this guy's as consistent as they get for the last decade, Nate Mercado at 587, and when you consider that he's had to play center, left, shortstop, and just playing and doing whatever the team needs and having to split your focus like that to still be able to throw up a 587. And
that's about 30 points off his average. If he was at one spot, I would put a plus 30 on that. And that's a testament to him being the ultimate team player.
Yeah, and I talked a little bit with Nate. He was kind of moving a little slow before one of their games, and I said, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "Man, we're barely halfway through, man, and I'm beat up." But and he's got a lot of mileage. We're talking about a kid who's pretty much his whole career played late on Sunday, and so he's got a lot of wear and tear, but he keeps doing whatever the 45s need to try to help them to be successful. So Nate Mercado checking in at 10. And now we're going to have back-to-back high Y guys. Guy who absolutely was killing the ball over the weekend, Travis Smith from High Y, 577, and also with an identical 577 number, Gardner Huff, who you guys might know as Man. So we got them at 11 and 12. They're technically both tied at 11.
The co-founders of High Y.
Right. And, so throwing KJ, they had three guys doing massive damage. And I think they might have been hitting 3, 4, 5. So when your road graders, middle of your lineup, is giving you that kind of production, your team is generally going to be pretty successful. Both of them had really good weekends with the sticks, no doubt about it. Checking in at number 13, G5, Greg Fleming from Signature at 568. So Greg playing good defense. One of the things about Greg is, his production's been good the last couple of years in terms of RBIs and getting doubles and stuff, but the average was lagging slightly behind. But this year, he's also hitting for a high average. So Greg off to a really good start.
He's transitioned some. If you remember about two years ago, maybe 3 years ago, he was like tied for home runs, and he was hitting more gaps. Now he's more in the doubles and singles and moving the chains along, so to speak. They'll use a football analogy, and that shows in the 500 batting average.
Well, and the thing about Greg is he can run.
Yes, he can fly.
So he doesn't got to worry about trying to beat anybody over the top all the time. If he hits a hard line drive, what I call on the telecast all the time, the stretch single, he's going to turn that into a double, an extra base hits.
Easily.
And, they got good players on on Signature, and they got a few guys that can run there. So if you're Greg, just putting the ball in play hard and moving it around.
Give yourself a chance, huh?
Right, and because he can run, it leads to a lot of extra base hits, and it makes him dangerous. And, to be honest with you, he's not hitting in the 4-hole. He's hitting a little bit less than that. I think he might be around 6, maybe.
6, 7,
in
yeah.
that lineup. That's a testament to how good Signature's lineup is. But I tell you, since he's went there, he was on the Pharaohs. I thought he was a good player with potential, but since he got to Signature, he's really unlocked it, and he's really gotten better. He was not afraid of the moment. And
well, I gotta give credit to who I consider the GOAT of coaching, and that's Sal.
Caputo?
No, that's Sal. And once Sal gets a hold to you, and you listen and buy into the system, you sky's the limit. And good job, Sal, and good job, Greg. And you piss Sal off, he will cut you.
Yeah. And now we got a younger player who got picked up by BTA, Furman Booth. And he's checking in at 14, hitting 560. So that's a nice thing to see a kid who got picked up by a major team.
And he's excelling.
Correct. And Furman is a good hitter. We saw it when he was playing on some A and B teams.
Family.
When he was younger. And, that was a nice little pickup by BTA, and maybe a lot of people, maybe missed it or, said, who's this guy? But Furman off to a very good start for BTA this year. And, nice pickup. And then we get to number 15, Jeff Mastari. Jeff hitting 550. Of course, he got injured, so I'm hoping that it's not going to be a long-term injury with Jeff. He had the hip contusion. They took some scans and x-rays, and there was nothing broke. I think Jeff was going to get a second opinion just to make sure, because it was a hip contusion, and you want to make sure that everything's okay there. Hopefully the bone wasn't damaged in any way, because he's really starting to
round into a great player.
He's really turning into a very good player. Of course, he transitioned a little bit when he was with the Hardway. He was a shortstop. Now he's playing primarily third base, and because of necessity, he's had to play a little third and a little shortstop. But he's another guy. Despite moving around a little bit, he's not letting it affect him with the bat, and he's really driving the ball this summer. And he's getting away from the high fly balls and hitting more line drives really hard that carry into the gaps. And he's got a chance to be just a really devastating offensive player. So Jeff, we wish you well. Can't wait to see you back on the softball field. And Jeff also a part of Five Star Installation, and they jumped in and bought a banner, and we'll have it up this weekend. And Jeff is a project manager, but I heard that he just got promoted as a vice president over there. Unfortunately, we already ordered the sign, and it said project manager, so congratulations on that, Jeff. And if you need any insulation, reach out to him. You can also talk to his dad, Frank, who's involved with that company as well. So thanks for supporting the SSA. Jeff, we appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you back on the field. So let's go now. The first category we're going to look at are total hits. And I'm going to make that a little bigger for you guys at home. And there we go. So sitting at the top of the pile with 27 hits, and this is just in 2 tournaments, is Nate Mercado with 27. So we told you Nate off to a great start. And here's another 45 who was in the top hitter list, and that's Tony Valdez with 23.
Okay.
Then we got from Chuck's, the big cat, Matt Mackey, checking in with 23, tied with Jack Landwehr from the 45s at 23. So, and then checking in at 5 is Jeff Mastari with 22. So when we look at like the top 5 guys with hits, 4 of them are from the 45s. So that'll tell you how much they're swinging the bats this year. And Chuck's is the lone representative to break up that little tea party.
Yeah, I had to break it up, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, but 45s have been scoring runs. Chuck scores runs. When you have big boy offenses and you're capable of rolling up big numbers, you guys are going to have some gaudy stats.
Yep.
So let's move along to the double category, and we'll blow that up for you guys as well. Leader of the pack. We actually got 4 guys tied for first. And you look at the numbers, they're tied with 7. You got Mastari, 45s. You got Scarlata from Signature. You got Mark Ross, Dirty 38s, tremendous outfielder with 7. You got Nate Mercado, 45s with 7. And there's Spencer Mahoney right on their heels with 6. So these are all guys, and they do it in different ways when you think about it. When you look at this list, Scarlata, he's been known to drive some balls, although he's a great handler of the bat. Mark Ross is lightning fast. Nate is lightning fast. And then you got guys like Spencer who are just so big and strong and hit them long singles in the alleys, and they get on their horse and they run. So,
but the common denominator they all have in common, they cut the bases. They cut the bases properly. You don't find them. And I noticed that lately, and some people when they get that single, they often first and it practically kissing the second baseman.
Yeah.
Well, those guys, it's like more like cut first, straight line to second.
Yeah.
And they cut the bases right, and those two steps is the reason why they're double kings.
Well, it's not only that, but these are guys that when they hit the ball, they're going to make you pick it up in the outfield clean,
Yeah.
and get it in. Half of these guys, most of these guys, when they make the turn, I mean, they're a good 25, 30 feet toward second,
Yeah.
until you show them you're getting the ball in and you're going to throw it accurate.
Right.
Then they'll put the brakes on and they'll go back. But if that throw is wide 10 feet,
You're gonna stand up.
or you're jogging after the ball, they're going to take another bag on you.
Yeah.
And I preach that when
With
I'm
Mudville.
streaming. Well, not just Mudville, but even when I'm streaming the games, I'm constantly telling the kids, when we're not wearing gloves, you don't know how the ball is going to bounce around on that turf. And so if you're jogging, you're not even putting that threat into the defense. And when you get the reputation that you're going to run hard, you get outfielders that are going to rush. They might overrun the ball. They might not handle it clean. And if you're not putting that pressure on them, it's not good softball. It's not the right way to play the game.
I agree.
So these guys are aggressive. They get it. And let's move on to the triple numbers, and we'll blow that up for you guys. Levi Usher with 6
Some triples?
triples. And, Levi, another guy, lightning fast, tall kid, chews up a lot of ground, really can drive the ball, but he's another guy. He hits a lot of bullets into the alley, and he hits the ball so hard that if he hits it clean into an alley, as an outfielder, you got a hard time cutting it off or getting it in front. And it's funny, I went and I looked at his spray chart. He hits the ball all over. It's not like everything is a hard
Right field,
pull.
left field.
Yeah, he'll go to the gap in left center, right center. He'll hit a ball down the right field line.
So he's all over the place.
Yeah, for a guy that hasn't really been playing 16-inch very long, he gets it. Next on the list, Rob Scahill. He's tied with Mike Alonji, and of course, Rob playing shortstop for Hex, left-handed hitter. Rob runs a little bit better than people might want to give him credit for. Absolute hose at shortstop. And Rob's another guy. He'll barrel it up. He'll hit it toward a gap. He'll put his head down out of the box, and he's going. We've talked many times about Mike Alonji. Might be one of the best all-around third basemen in 16-inch softball. And Mike, is another guy. He can drive it. He can take something off his swing. Mike may not be the fastest guy on the planet, but he runs the bases hard, and like you say, he's not wasting steps. Then we got Jeff Mastari with 3, and of course Jeff runs the bases pretty hard. He's very aggressive and long strider and a lot of power, and so he's checking in with 3. And also tied with him from the 45s, his teammate, there's that guy again, Tony Valdez, with 3 triples.
You know what? That's Tony Valdez. Tony Valdez's name is popping up a little bit, and it looks like you got found me an all-GO candidate.
Well, the thing about Tony is,
I'm just throwing it out there.
yeah, well, Tony's a competitive kid, and, he came back to the 45s, and he has given them a great effort. He's one of the outfielders that has been there just about every game, and he's just playing real free and easy right now. And he's he was a good player when the 45s had him the first time. He was a great player when he went to Circus, and he just continues to play good softball. So I really like Tony, and I like the way he plays the game. So now we're going to get to the home runs, and we'll blow that up for you. This to me is a little surprising. I know it's only been 2 tournaments, but to have the leader only sitting at 4, is a little bit interesting. You with all these big, strong guys and
They want to cut now.
guys getting triples. And,
They want to cut. The big guys want to cut. Little guys want to power up.
Yeah, well,
Go figure.
Well, tied at first, you got Nick Casanos from Hex, who plays short center for them. And Nick came over from Sauce. He's a kid who has improved when he went to Hex. And, Nick is he's a madman when he plays the game. I don't know if there's anybody harder on himself than Nick. And I know that because his significant other is Carly Ocrae. And even Carly is like, oh, yeah, he's hard on himself. And but Nick is playing real well, 4 home runs on the season, and giving Hex a little bit of pop. So
Where did Hex finish at in this tournament this year?
oh, I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Maybe
with
like
you.
6th.
Well, I know they won their last game Saturday against Impact, and I'm not sure who knocked them out on Sunday, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. But
They were in the winners bracket all the way to the Final Four, I think.
well, they didn't make it to the Final Four. They might have finished tied for 5th.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who knocked them out.
But my point, but they had they looked like they had a limited roster of players, and they did very well. And another team that did well for me, pardon Steve if I get the initials wrong, LBC.
Oh, Los Barachos
Yeah.
Softball Club.
Yeah, they did very well too. And then those Pharaohs are constantly climbing up, and pretty soon, I don't want to put, as you say, the Malouk on them, pretty soon I think the Pharaohs are chipping away at it, and they're getting better and better and better and better each tournament, each year, and those 3 teams. And there's one more I'm probably forgetting because I'm getting up in age, but those 3 teams kind of impressed me over the weekend because I never moved off that C diamond, so I had a good look at those 3 teams.
Well, it was
Along
funny.
with Will.
Well, CC yelled at me a little bit.
About the umpiring.
No, he yelled at me a little bit about stop talking about defensive woes, but they're catching the ball better now and they're playing better. And I think he was half joking because CC been around the game a long time. He knows the game, and he knows that they had to get better at that. And they are. The more they're playing, we're getting into better weather, and they're catching the ball a lot better. And, they're always going to be dangerous because when you catch the ball, you can stay in a lot of games. And it's always just been about, do they have enough offense?
Well, speaking of offense, they have a player that's going up the food chain, so to speak, and it's Justin Mack. And he plays third. First, he started the off as catching. They moved him to third base, and he's gotten better and better and better and better. And what I mean by improvement, he's getting the hits where it's a 2-out runner second. He's getting that clutch hit. And like I said, I never moved off Diamond C, and he's embracing the moment. He wants. Sometimes most players want the action but don't really want it. But he wants the action.
Wasn't his dad a longtime player?
Dad was a great
His
player.
dad was pretty good.
Dad was a great player. Dad
Yeah.
played for B Athletes, the Mighty Outcasts, and Young Guns, and some other team I'm just forgetting. But his dad was a great player, and his grandfather, Jesse Mack, is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he was an outstanding player for the Senators. So he comes from, as you say, a legacy kid. Is that
Yeah,
that's your terminology?
That's my terminology.
And so he's a legacy kid, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, and he's, they got some good players, and just a matter of putting it all together. So let's get back to this list real quick.
Sure.
Checking in, the next 3 guys on the list all got 3. Brian Kearns from Flashback. Again,
Speed.
Yeah, he's a guy, he's not necessarily going to beat you over the top, although in a game that I think Flash ended up losing to Chucks on either Saturday or Friday night. He did beat the right fielder, I think, over the top for a home run, but that's not his game. If Brian's going to beat you over the top, then you were disrespecting him, and he took advantage of it. He's a guy that can go hard, got a beautiful line drive swing to the gap. He's left-handed, so he gets out of the box fast. And, he's like in his mid-40s, although looking at him, you'd never know it.
No,
and he still runs like he's 22.
Now, I know we're on time constraints, but I got to mention this guy for Flash, that center fielder. Since you mentioned Flash and fast, and I'm not talking P.J. Raines this time, fellas.
Don't do it. Don't put the
no,
Maluka on.
I get the guys mixed up because they're brothers.
You're
Number
talking
48
about-
plays center field for
You're
Flash.
talking about Tommy Coates.
Tommy Cole. Okay,
He
I'm
might
sorry.
be one of the fastest
No.
guys in softball.
No, I
Tall
would say
kid.
top two. Top two.
He
Top two.
takes 2 steps and he eats
Top
up
two.
like 15 feet. I mean,
Top two.
And it was funny. Junior told me about two and a half weeks ago. The Coates boys are starting to figure it out, and his brother Pat had a real good north-south, even though he was a little gimpy on one of his legs. And Pat had a terrific weekend, and I think if you watch those kids play, you said, wow, they're really talented, and now they're starting to settle in,
Yeah.
and they're look like they're loose, like they're enjoying themselves. I had somebody on Flash say that at some point the shell cracked and they came out of the shell a little bit, and now they realize it's just softball. It doesn't matter whether you're in a big event or playing in a park league, and their talent is starting to show through. The 2 nice pickups for Flashback, and I've been saying all season, the back half of the season, if Flashback gets everybody out, they're going to be hell on wheels. And even though they didn't finish quite as high as they would have liked to this weekend, they did come in a little light. But I think the future is bright for that team. And again, disclaimer, I know those guys very well. I ran them for 4 years. But just on an analytical standpoint, they got a real good-looking team there.
Very good team.
Yeah, and then Nick Burnt on Impact, he had 3.
Is he left-handed?
Yeah, actually, Nick has 4 home runs. I did a game I got forced into doing the Hex Impact game, and I hit a button, and it flip-flopped guys in the order. So he actually hit a grand slam against Hex in like the first inning, and it ended up going to the guy behind him. So I'm working to correct the stats on that. So Nick actually has 4 home runs, not 3. And Nick is a guy that really pounds the ball. I actually told him after the
Silent killer.
I actually told him the next day, I screwed up your stats. I'm going to try to fix it. And he was like, oh, man, I'll let the other guy have it, he told me.
Silent killer.
Yeah, and big, strong kid. I think the first time we saw him was on the Ball Busters. And I think he
sure
played
did.
I think he might have played on March last year.
Yep.
And he came over to Impact this year. And Nick is a very, very dangerous hitter, to say the least. And then we got from Hall of Fame, they've only played in one event, but Kyle Carnahan has got 3 home runs from Hall of Fame. So that's pretty good production to be in one tournament.
Yeah,
and
3 of them.
And to have 3 home runs. So, that's pretty impressive.
Very.
Love the Hall of Fame guys. They're always a joy to be around. They don't take things too serious, and they just seem to play great softball all the time. And we love when they come in. Unfortunately, I think Aaron Hauser is getting married Labor Day weekend, and
Congratulations.
five of them are standing up in his wedding.
Congratulations.
And as a result of that, Hall of Fame will not be in the majors. So from a greedy, selfish softball standpoint, what are you doing, Aaron Hauser?
Stop.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's
Congratulations.
true love. It'll make you do crazy things. So, but I like Aaron. I like their team. I like how they run their team. A lot of characters on that team. And I really like talking to their guys when they're in town. So now we're going to go to RBIs. And we'll put that up. And it's interesting because you needed 26 at-bats to qualify for the batting at this point in the summer series. And the leader in RBIs, Jeff Mastari, and he's got 24. So he's got, excuse me, almost as many RBIs as you need at bats to qualify for the batting title at this point in the season. And just so you know, when we do the batting averages, because this is single elim, the amount of ABs required when we do the Midsummer Classic wrap-up
3, 4.
is not going to go up by 12 or 13 at-bats. You know, it'll be a lot less than that. And again, it's a light field, so there's only going to be a total of 13 games played. And, you know, I'm going to talk with some of the other guys, and we'll see what a fair at-bat amount is going to be to add to the total. So, and, you know, we had some major teams that didn't jump in this week because they were a little beat up. Some of them have been playing nonstop since Yuma. And, you know, they just needed to take a break, but they got more than enough at-bats, most of those guys, to qualify for stuff. So I don't think it's going to affect too many people. But Jeff Mastari with 24 at-bats. The big cat, Mackey with 23 RBIs. Jake Reynolds, big catcher for the Chucks team, played a little third base this weekend, 21 RBIs. And there's that guy again, Tony Valdez, with 18. And then also on the 45s with 18, Jack Landwehr. So, you know, Chucks has been coming in a little bit more this year. I think in 24, there were 1 or 2 Iowa guys that made the All-Summer Series. You know, and it's not because they're not good enough. It's just that, you know, they don't come in enough. So to try to have the statistical numbers to qualify for stuff is hard. But Chucks has already been in twice, and they'll be in for the major. So we're going to see some Chuck guys on that All-Summer Series team, I would imagine. So those were the RBI totals. And we're going to take a quick break just to remind you of some of our corporate sponsors. Sweet Buzz, we talked about them. Infused products, if you're an adult and you use infused products, check them out, Dresco Farms. And they have a lot of different products. Please, please, please use them responsibly. Of course, Cut Shot Bats, the official 16-inch bat of the Slow Pitch Softball Association. Check them out at cutshotsports.com. And they're providing bats for our MVPs and batting champs at our national championship tournaments. Thank you, Mikey Heinrichs. And, of course, if you want to inquire about a softball league, tournaments, fundraisers, and you'd like us to help you promote it and or live stream at an event, please reach out to us, info@ssasoftball.com, or give me a call at 708-807-7043. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming Midsummer Classic. And Jerry, why don't you fill some airtime so I can pull the bracket up? Forgot to put it on the spreadsheet.
Shame on you.
I got so much going on,
You got a lot going on. Well, before we talk about the Classic, I just want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day tomorrow. And then I also like to wish everybody a happy Juneteenth. Like to wish everybody, the SSA, keep doing a great job, keep doing good with softball, keep softball rolling. I know June is a really big month for everybody. Oh, let me at least not forget, today this is June, Happy Pride Month. So we got a lot going on to be prideful for, to be thankful for, to be happy with, and most importantly, we got some great softball coming up tomorrow, which will be out here in Melrose. The first game starts at 9. And he has the bracket, and he should be having it ready right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, me and Jerry, when we were setting up, we kept having trouble that the software was not allowing me, sometimes it was freezing. So I'm going to go through the bracket verbally here, and we can talk a little bit about it. We had 14 teams. We were hoping to get 16. We had a couple of major teams drop out because of the physical wear and tear that they were going through. And I can't blame them. They got the no glove coming up, and we would have liked to have had them. For those of you out there wondering why, we have all these tournaments, Danny always goes second full week in June, and this year June 1st was on a Monday, and so it got pushed back a little later than normal.
In Iowa.
And then, you had the clinch. First of all, you had Yuma.
Yeah, a lot.
Then you had the clincher. Then you had the North-South. Excuse me. And now you got this tournament. So it's a lot of softball. It's a lot of travel if you went to Yuma and Marshalltown. So it's just a rough month. It's a fluke in the schedule. That's why we're doing the midsummer this year as a single elimination tournament. If the teams that are in it like it, we may continue that. And
the tournament or the single elimination format?
Well, for this tournament, we're never going to do a national championship tournament, single elim. But for this particular tournament, we may do it, and we may try to get a few more teams to get in it. So we'll see if teams like it, and we'll see how it goes. But here's the basic bracket, and right off the bat, 2 9:30 games tomorrow morning.
Ooh.
You got the Dirty 38s playing the Fat Kids, which should be a terrific ball game. So it'll be very interesting. And the winner gets Iron after that. So obviously, single elim, either the 38s or the kids are going to go home and enjoy the rest of Father's Day weekend, and the winner will advance. So at 9:30, that's a big, big game. Also at 9:30, you got Whale and Hex, a couple of big dogs going at it right away, and that should be exciting. And Jerry, I don't know what to do. I don't know which of the two games to stream, because I think they're both going to be fantastic.
Both will be great games. And if I was you, I would go into the bullpen, and I would call the great Will Russ to do a game for you.
Well, the problem is, unfortunately, the software doesn't let us stream two games at once.
Time. Okay, I didn't know that.
So
you got to pick. You got to pick your
and
poison.
plus, Will works until 3:00. But me and Patty are actually trying to get Matty Dozen.
That's what I was going to say.
To maybe come out and maybe stream a game during the day. So both of those games at 9, I may go stand in center field and just rotate the camera and pray like hell nobody hits an old man in the head.
That's a good compromise.
Although if I go stand in center field, they might be aiming at me, Jared.
No comment.
But I might get hit. It'll be like blindsided, a receiver going over the middle. Oops. And there I am laying on the ground. Camera. We've seen that happen, unfortunately. So those are two terrific games right out of the box. And then at 10:45, I think we got a game that could be a little more competitive than people think. The Dirt Monkeys, and talking to the kid that runs that team, they're all pumped up, fired up, and they were more than happy to get in. And they play Los Barachos Softball Club. So
that should be a very entertaining game.
It should be. I would think, just from an experience. Didn't you play the Dirt Monkeys?
They beat us this year 7-5.
Yeah, they beat you in the Cinco, correct?
Yeah, right here. Yeah, yes, they did.
So what was your impressions of their ball club?
You know what? Once the first two innings and they settled in, and then they found their way. You know what I mean? The first innings they seemed kind of like a little unsettled, and then they had the guy from Flash helping them Vito, I think. Was it?
Yeah, I
it
think-
was Vito.
yeah.
Once Vito got them kind of calmed down and settled in, then they became everything went smooth for them. Unfortunately, I came from the short end of the stick, but I like the Dirt Monkeys, and I like them a lot.
And then later on, Vito had to leave, and Michelangelo showed up,
So
and he was helping him.
They get the best of both worlds. So yeah, the Dirt Monkeys, they're no doormat, they're no slouch team. They're going to come and play hard.
And it's funny because they didn't even bring a scorebook.
I don't want to talk about that.
And well, it was funny because Vito's
It
like,
wasn't funny.
Vito's like, we don't need a scorebook. And Michelangelo came over and
first thing
said,
he
can
said-
I borrow a score sheet to keep the book for these guys? He's like, who comes to a tournament? He's like, these young guys, and I was kind of laughing, but, it's like the first event they ever got into. And, in a weird way, I love it because, you want to see younger kids get out of their comfort zone and, experiment, get into events.
Yep.
And they had a great time. And consequently, they get into this tournament and they're going to get into the Tom Zarnik No Glove A. So, that's great. I love seeing young teams.
And if I remember correctly, I think the Dirt Monkeys did play. They played LBC.
Did they?
Yeah, after they beat us, I think they played LBC, and that was a pretty tight game. So they're familiar with each other.
Yeah, so the Dirt Monkeys, was that their first tournament game when they played you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I remember because you played them on field one.
Right.
And I was sitting over there because I kind of wanted to take a look at them. And you're right. Your breakdown of that was correct. The first couple innings.
Yeah.
I think, they get surprised. They come out, everybody's wearing uniforms. There's all these little mini formalities. And but, yeah, they recovered. And I think Barachos did beat them. But, LBC's a good team. I mean, so moving on, the other 10:45 game is going to be Traffic playing
Will.
Flashback. Well, Will be at work
Oh,
at that
that work.
time.
I'm about to say Will. I
So-
said that. You know what? If Will can call off, he knows. Oh, he can pitch against them, and he can shut them down.
Well,
He can shut the high-powered offense down.
Well, I got to tell you, it's great that Nicky Gatta, of course, we talk about Nicky all the time, been running Traffic forever, one of the big characters in the game. But they got a guy on that team that can pitch in Jerry Main. So whether Will is there or not, they're in good hands.
Oh, yeah, I'm just having fun.
Right, but it would have been interesting to see Will, who for years was in Flashback's dugout, pinch runner, got a chance to actually pitch a few
Yes,
games
he
in
did.
the Melrose League
Yes, he
for
did.
Flashback,
And won.
pitching against all of these guys that are like his good friends. That would have been fun,
But what would have happened if? How would he have pitched his brother? Would he walk him, or would his brother go? Or would the big brother go easy on the little brother?
well, I don't know, but if he was throwing meatballs, Nicky Gatta's head might explode. That's for sure. But so that's a fun matchup because, if I'm not mistaken as well, Bob Rush Jr.,
Yeah, he
his
plays-
son Brendan
plays
is
on there.
on Traffic.
Yes, he does.
So, it's very interesting. And I think another, like brother or half-brother, Ricky Russ, is playing on a team in the Class A No Glove tournament. So a lot of Russes running around playing softball. And then we get to 12:30, Chicago Dynasty will be playing Impact. And, Impact's coming right along. They got a couple of nice players on there. We already
Very nice players.
Yeah, they do. And Tommy LeVar does a great job. And, of course, Mike Mays running Chicago Dynasty.
Yep.
It seems like they play a lot of good games, but they just don't seal the deal. They had a couple of games in the TOC where they scored a lot of runs. So it'll be interesting to see if they're kind of getting their groove back a little bit. And, they've lost just a ton of phenomenal players the last 3-4 years on that team. And, their center fielder is really playing well. Tommy
Oh boy.
Gosh.
Yep. I know.
We're both getting old,
Yep.
Jerry.
Tommy. I had the Tommy. Yep.
Yeah.
The lefty.
Yeah, and he was just a couple of ticks below being batting average-wise in the top 15. I
Really?
think he might have been short a couple of plate appearances, but he's off to a really, really good year for Chicago Dynasty, and he's catching the ball in center like he always does. And also at 12 o'clock, we got a little neighborhood tussle, Lobos and BTA going at
It
it.
won't be a tussle. Hopefully, BTA go easy on us.
Well, that'll be a fun game at 12.
We'll see how fun it is after the game's over with.
And of course, I didn't quite, we got a team that did get a bye, the Pharaohs, who we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be playing the winner of the flashback traffic game.
Oh, wow.
So,
You got some good games, man.
yeah, I mean, traffic is young. You would assume flashback is going to get past traffic, but,
Gotta play the game.
Yeah, right. If you're flashback, you better be ready to go because I'm sure Nicky will have them wound up, and Nicky knows flashback as well as anybody, so no secrets. But should flashback get to that Pharaoh game, that'll be a very, very interesting game. And if you are thinking of coming out, there will be food. Harlow's Bar and Grill will be doing the food.
Okay.
And the championship game is set for 5 p.m. And these games are hour and 15 spread apart. So my guess is time-wise, even if we're a few minutes behind,
Not
my
much.
guess is it won't be too far behind. They are predicting a possibility of some rain Saturday. But I think if it rains, it's supposed to be later at night. So
Leave that. Don't even mention the R word.
yeah, so I think we're going to get through the tournament okay.
Speaking of the R word, hold on. I got the one roster.
This is a roster tournament, of course it is.
I had 9 guys I wanted.
Yeah.
From the White Sox.
Right away, before we finish up today, for you Class A no-glove teams, right now I think we're at 35. We have a 36 team, but we don't know them, so we're doing our due diligence and waiting on a roster. So it could be 36, depending on what we find when we look at the roster.
I had a team that was interested in getting in.
Yeah.
Los Lobos.
So moving along, we're going to do the draw right here, Bulger Park, Monday night, 7 p.m. And most of you have paid. If you haven't paid, we need you to get it in. And I know some of you teams that are new to the SSA are still getting me the rosters. The response has been tremendous. I know I'm bothering all you guys with text messages, but if you don't want to get the text messages, then send me the stuff we ask for. But it should be a good weekend, and we're going to do that draw, like I said, on Monday out here at Bulger Park. And it's going to be good. We'll end up live streaming it, but for some of you teams that are new to the SSA, you'll want to come to the draw, and you're going to want to hear what we expect of you guys during that weekend. Also, we want to let you know that Ray Zarnick and Ziegler Chevrolet really have gone to bat, and they've underwritten this tournament. And they've done a tremendous job. That's why it's a $75 entry fee. And Ray will be selling shirts that are going to benefit Lurie's Children's Hospital. And I'd like to just ask you personally, it's not mandatory. If you don't want to do it, no one's going to look at you funny. But if your team can maybe scrape together $25, $50, $75, $100 to make a donation for Lurie's Children's Hospital. The softball community is usually pretty generous, It would be a nice gesture. Again, not required. If you want to donate in other ways, buy a T-shirt. Ray's going to have a lot of T-shirts, and all proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, going directly to Lurie's Children's Hospital. One of the employees at Ziegler, his son passed away, young child, Aiden, and that's why we decided to do this particular event as a fundraiser. And so just keep that in the back of your mind. Hey, if you're a softball player and you want to come by the table and say, hey, I want to make a $20 donation, whatever you guys want to do, not mandatory, no pressure, but I just thought I would throw that out there. It's for a good cause. So I think the tournament's going to be a lot of fun. On behalf of the SSA, I'd like to thank the Schaumburg Park District for the work that they're doing on it. Kevin, Ronnie Zeman, and the staff up there has always been tremendous to the SSA, and they're good people to work with. So, there's a lot of chatter online. Just disregard it. Schaumburg is a class park district, and they do a tremendous job. So, we're looking forward to it. Get me your stuff so I don't have to chase you all. And the draw should be a lot of fun, so come on out for that. And we're going to do the draw. We'll have the official bracket up a little bit after the draw. And, we are going to play some Thursday games because of the size of the tournament. And I think we're only playing maybe 10 or 12 games. So we only have 2 diamonds on Thursday, but it's important for us to get everybody to play before Saturday.
So what time will it start Thursday?
Well, we're going to look at it and see how the brackets
how it comes
shape up.
Gotcha.
But, it won't be 6 o'clock or anything. It might be, 6:45 or 7.
Okay.
And, we do look at a little bit at geography. If we got a couple of north side teams, they could end up playing earlier. If you're coming, say, from Washington Park to get to Schaumburg at that time is difficult. So, we try to look at that. We do have an Iowa team, Rick's, coming in, and Rick's finished second in the B tournament last year, and they're coming in, so obviously they'll play on Friday. We're not going to make them come in an extra day. So it's going to be a great event. Schaumburg has turf. We're actually like the first softball tournament that's going to have AstroTurf. So that's kind of a fun thing. And, come on out. There will be food there. And we'll talk a little bit more about some other stuff tomorrow at the draw. And, for you younger teams, enjoy the moment. I think you're really going to enjoy being there. And, just enjoy it and come out, play hard, and, let's respect each other, the umpires, and let's just have a good time. So that's about all I got, Jerry. We covered a lot of ground today.
I don't have much to say, but just to piggyback on you, and let's have a good time, play softball, and have fun.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, man. As George Bliss, the great one, would say, it's the greatest game ever invented, play softball.
The great Bliss.
So we're going to cut away, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see a lot of you A teams Monday right here at Bulger Park, and I'll be sending you one more text with the Google link so you guys can find the park. And it'll be a great time. So thanks for spending some time with us, and come on out tomorrow, man. Enjoy the weather, bring a chair, hang out, and watch some of the greatest players in softball go at it.
And coach.
Right. So thank you very much. And for Jerry Brown, this is Gio. Thank you so much. We love you.